from all, to all, with all, for all, through all. We thank the gods of creation. We thank the ancestors. We thank the forces of nature. And we thank the earth. We thank them for their direction, their protection, their guidance, for keeping us, showing us, allowing us to know and enjoy life to its fullest, now and later.
Black people who once loved with the slow march of time. Time was ours to hold in the soft, low-born chambers of our hearts. And once we, the Afro mommies and daddies of a sun world, would turn our strands of hair into antennas to tune in the juju madness and syncopated love rhythms of Africa. And we love with time, and we took the time to love, and with the right time we love, and we love time after time. Will we ever love again? Will we ever love again? Will we really ever love again? Or will we just sit and rot away with the brighter tomorrows in the skag field, rat-cluttered halls of our minds?
Black people, what y'all gonna do? Black people, what y'all gonna do?
Will the real black people please stand up?
Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us, facing the rise.
Jumbo Habari, and welcome once again to Our Story, the program that makes being black positive, relevant, desirable, and true to a lost nation in America. A program that speaks to the historical significance of the original people of the earth. Our Story Network takes pride in setting itself away from other programs that centers on entertainment or rhetorical mumbo-jumbo that misdirects your attention onto other things that causes you to exhaust your resources and renders you brain dead. It is Our Story who talks about commitment to you and your people. It is Our Story that champions the reestablishment of the black genius that once ruled the world. It is Our Story that focuses you in on rewards of black advocacy, black activism, black involvement, and black power. It is Our Story that encourages survival of the black race and solicits your involvement to that end. Black folks must remember race first is the call of the day, and we as a people must. I say must take the pledge if we, the original people, expect to survive. As I take the many lessons I have received over the years and reflect upon them by sharing these lessons with my brothers and sisters, I realize the power that we as a people possess for the most part has gone unnoticed. The masses of black folks who have been rendered lost and disenfranchised from the meaning and mission our creators intended for us to embrace is all but depleted. It is because of the mission and meaning of the life of our ancestors that I realize how blessed as black people we really are. What fascinates me are the many gifts I have been granted, which allows me to distribute the information onward to you. As always, that message begins and ends with the importance of blackness. Say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. Greetings, friends, comrades, family, the inquisitive onlookers, and our beloved viewers. Welcome, welcome, and welcome to our Story Network. We thank you for being with us this evening, and we trust you will take something of value away with you after the program. That is the aim and goal of our Story Network, the network that leads the pack in modern day communications and ancient and modern education. I say ancient and modern education because of the many errors we have found in the translations and interpretations of ancient records. The modern revelations by new black scholars have opened the window of discovery that has allowed the truth and knowledge originally disseminated by the black masters of education to flourish once again. This is one of the stumbling blocks that has kept black people from rebuilding their greatness and recapturing their birthright. Good evening, brothers and sisters. It is great being with you once again, and tonight we will discuss the results of the election and where does this place the black population in our city and this nation. But, and there is always a but before we proceed, I want to open up the program with why the electoral process is problematic for black people in America. As you are aware, the electoral process is controlled by party politics. Party politics is actually a wedge between democracy and the delivering process from which people receive democracy. To demonstrate this, I want to use a personal experience that met me straight in the face. Election day. I was meeting at a coffee house on Esplanade Avenue. This coffee house happened to be located directly across the street from a middle school where voting just happened to be going on the whole day. My reason for mentioning this is school zones and voting places fall under special laws concerning gun control. While in my meeting, I noticed two white boys walking in the cafe with guns in their waistbands. These guns appeared to be of the .45 caliber variety. These two boys went to the counter, ordered, and were served by the employees. The boys then went to a table on the other side of the cafe where I could not see them. I mentioned the guns to the people at the meeting so they could witness the brandishing of guns as well. The conversation turned to how often whites see blacks acting suspiciously and call the police. After several comments followed that vein, I called the police. This was approximately 10:39 a.m. in the morning. I called 911 to report two white males carrying guns in their belts inside the coffee shop on Esplanade Avenue. The dispatcher asked several questions about descriptions and the normal inquiring information. However, it was taking the operator so long until I asked her why a unit hadn't been dispatched. This call took approximately 3 minutes, and I was expecting to see uniformed officers in the building within seconds. At approximately 10:45 a.m., I received another call from police headquarters asking me the same questions the dispatcher asked. This took approximately 3 minutes. Then at approximately 10:49, I got a call from Officer J. Jeffries of the 1st District asking more of the same questions. When I asked him his location, he told me he was in his unit across the street from the cafe. I responded to him with, "You can't do anything across the street. You need to come into the cafe." If this was a call concerning black suspects, the place would be crawling with police. He then told me I was ignorant for my comment and that he would come in due time. He finally came in at approximately 10:57. There was another gentleman, a civilian, who met Officer Jeffries at the door and escorted the officer to the table where the 2 suspects were sitting. I could not hear what questions he asked the 2, but conversation ensued, and never did I see any ID presented to the officers. And after a few minutes of conversation, the 2 suspects followed the officer out of the cafe and stood several feet away from the building. At no time did I see any ID surrendered by the suspects, and the 2 simply went to their car and placed their weapons in the car and returned to the cafe to finish their visit. I must say, these 2 suspects had all of the markings of gang or clan affiliations. The 2 did not seem to be the upstanding citizens that would routinely be given a pass. This caused me to question what really would have happened if the suspects just happened to be black. More than likely, the dispatcher would have contacted the SWAT team, and SWAT would have answered the call. I mention this tonight to remind all black people that equal justice under the law is a fantasy most blacks buy with the lie that America is a democracy and voting makes changes. I earlier mentioned that we were less than 500 feet from an active school and 500 feet from an active voting place. Both counts introduce special laws, and both situations demands corrective measures immediately. But since they were white, they got a pass, and the white officer who questioned them felt vigilant in overlooking this infraction. But to the if they were black scenario, if the call went in that 2 black males were openly carrying guns, if not the SWAT, then many more police units would have converged on the scene, and without question, the 2 black men would have been handcuffed and placed in the back of a police unit. Their guns would have been confiscated, and at a minimum, they would have to take a ride to OPP. This is the reality of being black in America. Now, I have given the best possible scenario, but what probably would have happened is the black men would have been provoked into doing something that would have caused the charges to be inflicted. Which brings me back to the theme in 2018, a black man, woman, or child is still a nigger no matter what. Black people cast their ballots on election day, but still cannot walk the street safe or sound as a normal citizen is supposed to be able to do. That is why tonight I have asked one of the candidates who didn't stand a snowball's chance in hell of winning to be with us tonight. I take my hat off to those who qualified to run for office because they are the new breed freedom fighters, willing to risk their lives and their status in the community to chip away at the curtain that divides black and white, right and wrong. And if you have not understood my symbolism, black stands for right, white stands for wrong. In closing, I want to say, party politics is as racist as the KKK and white supremacy. But if blacks expect to find salvation, they will have to find this fight they will have to fight this fight as well. In Belden, Noonie, Baptiste's case, Noonie came in second with 5.11%, or 5,635 votes, against Cedric Richmond, the incumbent, who spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in his campaign. Well, we are going to get into this and more. I want to welcome Champ, and I call you Champ because you have always stepped up to champion for your people. I've known you for years, and it wasn't until you began running for office I really knew your given name. I'm sure there are others out there with the same history, but Noonie, by any other name, is still Noonie. Welcome to our story, my brother.
Thank you. We're happy to be here.
Tell us your take on the campaign, on the election, the outcome, and where does this put black people in our community with the electoral process?
Well, my take on campaign was that I got to see a lot of stuff what goes into politics and how you're treated in the politics and how the money candidates, they always say is the best, but just that they have more money than you and they can throw their money around and get people to vote for them. Even when they did endorsements, I think everybody should be, when they do endorsements, they only invite certain people to the table to do the endorsements, and already they know who they're gonna pick in case, like I ran against Cedric. Cedric didn't show up to like 3 forms, but they still picked him because once they endorse him, he pays them like $30,000, $40,000 to be on their ticket, and that's how he get the endorsement.
That's how anyone gets an endorsement. It's a paid endorsement.
It's a paid endorsement, and when you coming from the grassroots community, you're treated any kind of way. For instance, the Tribune, the New Orleans Tribune say they're the right paper for the right time, right? They put all 3 of the candidates in there, never put a picture of me in there, never did a story, and I stay right around the corner from Miss Belden McKenna house. And they never put me nowhere on the ballot. So I called her and asked her, they said, oh, we made 7 attempts, right? I said, Miss Belden, that ain't true. But I said, I know the reason why you did it. The reason why they did it is because when her husband ran for colonel, Rouser was asked to step down by Cedric. So Cedric told them to keep me out the paper. But I thought the Tribune, the New Orleans Tribune, was for grassroots people that stories should be heard. So when I called her, I was very, upset about that because me and Miss Beverly was on the page. She had just honored me in September as a tree shaker. And I said, so y'all got my number? I asked them, what's my number? They couldn't even tell me my number. I said, better than that. Y'all could have walked down the house, but y'all go get 2 candidates, nothing against the candidates, one from Gretna and one from Baton Rouge, right? And I stayed right around the corner, so they left me out. Then they had Greater New Orleans People Alliance. Now, this one was real funny. I had to laugh at it because she called me and she said, oh, we forgot to call you for the interview, but you can do the interview, but it don't count. You can do the paper, but it don't count. So I said, what are you calling me for? I said, so why did you leave me out? She said, oh, I don't know, and this and that. Now, they're the people that's putting housing first, and I'm all for putting housing first. But it makes me question them because if y'all doing this to candidates, what would y'all doing for housing?
Yes.
And so after that, they had the Night War group with Reverend Calhoun and Mr. Walter Goodman them, and they come to Justice and Beyond and invite me to come down there. Say be there tomorrow at 35 to talk to the young people. All right, said we made 7 attempts, they never did. So when I get there, they tell me and Miss Marie, oh, y'all can't speak. I said, well, why would you make me come here? and he said, well, they say you can't speak, but that was Cedric Richmond too. This group in the Ninth Ward with Reverend Calhoun and Walter Goodman now, that group don't represent the people. They represent the money interests. Whoever giving them the big money, that's who they go with. Still with the endorsements. If you don't have the money, they're not going to represent you, or they're not going to go with you, you know? And so going through this process taught me a lot, but I really enjoyed it because people came out, people voted, and they ain't gonna stop me because I'm gonna keep doing my work in the community and keep on going and look at other races. I mean, but I hope more grassroots people step up because I kept it grassroots. You didn't see no signs out for me or nothing because I didn't have the big money, but I did what I had to do. And this process gets me in New Orleans. In New Orleans makes me question everything, you know, because, for instance, Arthur Morrell, the clerk of court, he wearing a Cedric Richmond sticker. I got a picture of him wearing a Cedric Richmond sticker, and if you the clerk of court, how could you be endorsing people?
Yeah.
And he endorsed Omar against Marie Williams, you know, and it makes me question a lot of things they do, you know, like Bowl control the election process. If you would Bowl is good, which Mr. Errol would Bowl, and all these groups, but all these groups, they're just getting them money. You know, and they had Willie Gable with the pastors, right? Now they swear on Sunday they're telling you to tell the truth. So they say Cedric was the best man. They say they endorsed some candidates. They know those candidates ain't doing nothing for black people in the neighborhoods. Cedric don't even come to the neighborhoods for a meeting, WC. He don't come to do nothing. They had a group go up there for road home. He left them hanging. And they know what Cedric doing, but long as they getting the money. And the city of New Orleans, we in trouble. We in trouble if we don't get grassroots candidates and step up, we in trouble.
You know, you're speaking about the grassroots candidates, and it's interesting that you bring that up because one of the things that we find ourselves plagued with is the fact that we're not able to field candidates and give them the necessary money,
that's right,
the necessary resources that they need to be competitive.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? Now, don't get me wrong. Now, I just heard tonight there was a woman in Baton Rouge, I think she's running for Secretary of State.
Yeah, Ms. Gwen.
She's got they have a runoff coming up.
That's right.
She said that she spent, I don't know whether it was $2,000 or $6,000, that's all she had.
Yeah, that's all.
But she
True story.
pinned down her opponent.
That's right.
To the point where there is a runoff.
That's right. And
now,
they did.
I'm going to say this. Black people in the state of Louisiana have no business voting for anyone else but her.
That's right.
This woman came from grassroots.
That's right.
Has offered herself for service and has gotten to the biggest point, which is to get into a runoff. So we cannot allow this woman to go astray.
That's right.
In the runoffs, to just float aimlessly in the ocean.
That's right.
When we can put her in that position.
Yeah, and that's true. But what's going to happen is the backdoor deals is about to start. I guarantee you, Cedric don't go with her. All the candidates, because remember Derek Edwards ran, and he was the best candidate. What they did, they went and got Neil Rising from the KKK, and they endorsed him. So they're not going to endorse him, but it's on us, like you said. We need to get behind that sister and fight with her. All these women groups they talk about, the IWO women, I bet you they don't endorse her. They're not going to endorse her. The women, but she's the best fit candidate. I was on the same debate with her. She went before me, and she was running circles around her head. And they was trying to prove her wrong, and when they went look at their phone, they said, oh, we made a mistake. She's the best candidate. Me and her talk. I only had $300. That's all I ran. So I know she running her thing. And see, when the grassroots people do that, that's when they should support them.
Yes,
you know?
I agree.
And this sister, they're gonna do everything not to get her in, because she's not playing. She's going in, and if it's corruption, she calling it like it is. They ask some of these Secretary of States, I got there to see that. They asked them about voter suppression. You should have saw them. They was ducking. But that sister told it like it was. And it was a pleasure to meet her, you know, just like, and the men in the race, the candidates that's running for men, like in Marie Williams, I want to use Marie Williams thing, how the men have treated her, Richard Perk and Omar, for them to treat a woman like that, there's something wrong with that. So all those women groups, and everybody should get behind Marie, because she can be your mama, she can be your sister, and if they treat her like that, they'll treat anybody. They told the lady signs down, but it's just the way they treat her. And I got 3 brothers, and we gonna follow Marie wherever she go. They even follow that home, WC, in cars, and I mean in a truck, and threaten the lady, you know, and this gotta stop. And the leader is Cedric Richmond. He does this. They threaten people. They get away with it, and they've been getting away with it for so long. Marie is the same lady who remember when Joe Russo tried to cut a deal and she exposed them?
Right.
And that lady have paid for that ever since. Even though she did the right thing, she have paid for it ever since. And watch, they're not going to endorse Marie. They have already tried to tell her, drop out the race, this is our candidate. And I told her, no, you the best candidate, because I watch Marie, and that's what made me join her team. They had all these candidates, but guess who know the law? Guess who know everything? Marie Williams. Isn't she a grassroots? She's a grassroots candidate. She be everywhere, helping anybody, doing things and everything. So you know how we grassroots, how all us link up together.
Yeah.
And we fighting the machine, because in New Orleans, they're still letting, I thought I was the best candidate, but why they did it? Because of the political machine and the money. And they're selling them these false lies. But I guarantee you, let something happen and we call Cedric Richmond, ain't nothing gonna happen. He don't even come to New Orleans for meetings, St. Charles, St. James. So everybody says the same thing, but our people, they gotta get out and vote. They gotta vote, but I heard, you know, early voting was good. I saw a lot of voting, but we gotta do way more than that, because the black community is suffering.
Let's look at that for a minute, getting out the vote, because I used to hear a lot how black people were not voting, and, you know, if we voted more, we would have more coming our way.
Yeah.
The truth of the matter is, the black people that vote are chronic voters.
That's right.
So it's not that we don't vote.
No, it's the voter suppression.
Not only that, but it's that we really are not given candidates who's going to look out for our interests.
That's right. That's right.
We have candidates who are pretty much going to maintain the status quo.
That's right.
And we can't make it with the status quo.
We can't. And I looked at the candidates in the race. For instance, you know, I told them I was running on the Poor People's Campaign, housing. I told them I was running for better jobs, for universally health care for everybody. And none of the candidates was talking. They wasn't even concerned about the young people. I'm the only one saying, what are we going to do about the young people? Because in New Orleans, our young people are acting out what they want to say. Canizero used the word, call them thugs. They're not
Yeah.
thugs. They're not thugs. We not giving them every opportunity.
Right.
They now get $19.1 million, and I know you have volunteered at Stalin, me, you, all the people be around, right?
Right.
But that $19.1 million ain't being pumped in the Nord. All that money going to salaries.
Yes.
They'd be lucky if they get $200,000. Y'all at Stalin, y'all made that park happen.
Let me tell you, not only are we not getting the money that has been appointed to Nord for the money, we raise money, and they take that.
That's what I'm saying. And they take that, and they take the money and tell you, oh, we putting it in a bank. And to this day, a lot of booster clubs didn't get their money. Richard Lee Park got $4 million. They can't find no money, no nothing. Nord is a completely disgrace, and I call them a bunch of crooks because they brought this foundation. Now, the foundation pulls the master money, right? So they had $19.1 million. Well, where the foundation $19.1 million?
Right.
They don't have it, but what they're trying to do is set our kids up pay to play. That's what they guarantee. They said, you remember they said it a while back,
Yeah.
but they're going to do it. But you know what got me about that, WC? They said they're going to figure out what children poor. So show me how you figure out what children are poor. Because they can be the poorest child, but their mama might keep them clean every day.
Yeah, that's true. Listen, we're going to open up the phone lines
Cool.
in case anybody wants to call and get in on the conversation. But, you know, speaking of Nord, I'm going to tell you because I've been over at Stalin's for a number of years. We ran into a problem where we had an overrun of rodents
Yeah.
coming in.
Yeah, 130.
Based upon the building not being maintained. Now, they tried to hold the volunteers responsible for the lack of maintenance.
Uh-huh.
And when we finally pushed them, it took them 3 years to do what it could have taken them 6, 7, 8 months to do.
Yeah.
We lost 3 years of programs in our park
Sure did.
for our children. Now, I'm fortunate because all my children are adults now.
Yeah.
But all my children grew up at Stalin.
That's right.
So I know what programs look like and what they can do. But when we have look, the last 8 years we suffered
Yeah.
under
Hard.
Mitch Landrieu.
And
The parks suffered tremendously. So now we're trying to rebound and put together a meaningful program,
that's right.
but we're going to need Nord to step up to the plate and do what they're expected to do.
That's right, because we voted, when it went back, they voted for this new Nord and promised the people new Nord, and me, you, I remember a couple of us telling them this new Nord was going to fail.
Right.
And they didn't listen to us, and they need to step up to the plate, because just like you say, the rodents that took over, Stalin still got $137,000 work had to be done, and now they didn't close all 19 booster clubs down for the same thing.
Yeah.
And so then they said they closed it down because of health. But what got me most, WC, they never sent the letters to the parents. So what I want to know is if y'all saying the concession stands and all that was health violations, is it going to hurt the children's health? You see what I'm saying? Not on the people that was in the concessions, but if rats, like at one place they said the rats, roaches was crawling, and they're serving people nachos.
Yeah, yeah.
Then, now they're serving them, they say they're serving with no hot water. How can the health department let them do that with no hot water?
Yeah, yeah.
You know? And so, we been voting, but we runs into like what happened at McDonald's 28. The disabled people couldn't vote. And Arthur saying it was the school, but no, Arthur, you the clerk. You
Yeah.
should have made sure that
It was
and
open.
right
That's
now,
his job.
That's right. So we don't know how many disabled people was allowed to vote. Go without voting citywide.
Yeah.
So We don't know how the election, but it's a form of voter suppression. But I bet you Bo got their people in. I
Yeah.
bet you all little PACs got their people in, you know. And what get me, WC, most of these people are the same people that's preaching in the churches on Sunday, telling the people to do the right thing, and y'all doing the wrong thing. All money ain't no good money.
That's right. That's right. You know, there's a friend of mine who is Andy Washington, who came
Yes.
up with.
Yes.
You're familiar with him.
Yeah.
Who came up with what is now called the Andy Plan.
Yeah.
Which really explains what it is as blacks we have to do
That's right.
in order to make the electoral process pay off for us. But we cannot get any of the current politicians interested in implementing this plan.
No, because they know it's going to stop
Their
their money
flow of
flow
money
and
coming
their
in.
profits.
That's
you
right.
know, it's going to stop their money and their profits. That's the same like the jail, right? Did you see the people that own the jails are saying that ain't the agreement the state made with them? They got to keep those jails filled.
Yes.
So that meant that they got to keep black people in jails. When I read that in the paper, I said, let me read this again, because I thought something was wrong with me. But it wasn't me. They made an agreement way back that they got to keep prisons filled.
Yeah, yeah.
And so that's the same thing with this election. What they're doing, when you adopt the behaviors of our oppressor, like the politicians, they're adopting our oppressor's behavior, and they're giving them the money to screw their own people in the community.
That's right.
And
That
that's
is
what they're
right.
doing.
That's right. And you know what is not funny, but it has an irony to it, and that is, if you look through history, you will find the same things that are happening to us today have always happened throughout the European
That's right.
system.
That's right. That's
Whether
right.
you call it democracy, socialism,
That's right.
communism, the same thing happens.
That's right. And I went to the European descent, the little thing they had.
Yeah.
And they was saying how racist was against black people. They was telling other folks in there how racist they was against black people. You know, and that shocked me because it was my first time going to see them, but I gotta give them their props, you know. And also this guy he just getting started, the Big Easy magazine.
Yeah.
Online. He's doing a great job because he brought the progressive candidate. Cedric never showed up to one debate, but everybody endorsed him on a card because it was about money. And one thing about our people is when they vote, they listen to their pastors, they listen to certain people. But let me tell you, your pastors ain't doing nothing to better you. He's better than himself. He's better than himself and getting paid.
He sold you
That's
on
right.
the idea
Sold
that
you.
you get your reward after you're dead and gone.
That's right. And then when you're dead and gone, you're not getting your reward because when he got to preach, he won't. If you die, you got to pay, your family got to pay him.
To preach.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
To preach. You know
Yes.
what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I can understand what all the civil rights people was going through and what they done fought for. And like you, I'm talking about, you know, Malcolm, Dr. King and all them dead, but I'm talking about the people that came up, the elders that still fighting out here.
Right.
All that y'all in fight, y'all in made things happen for them, and they're still selling out.
Yeah.
They're
yeah.
still selling out. Just cause we have, let's say we get a black mayor, right? Or a black president or somebody, that don't mean that's our hero. That don't mean that's our hero, because they gotta do what our oppressors say, because that's the people putting the money behind them.
That's
You
right.
know? And one of the things that get me is like you go for endorsements. They say you can have 7 candidates, you can have 4, you can have 5. They make them come there for 2 hours to talk to them, right? So I skipped a lot of them. I did the paperwork, but I'm not going to sit there 2 hours and you know who you endorsing already. you know. But I didn't expect the Tribune, the Ninth Ward people, and Greater New Orleans Lines to do that. I expected the Time-Picayune, you know, because Cedric controlled that. The Weekly went with Cedric. All of them was not fair to the grassroots. All that stuff they say they want the grassroots community stories and all that. No, who's documenting our stories? You was there for the 911 thing. We call you and say, Devil, you see we need you. You documenting all the history and telling our stories. Nobody else ain't doing that. They ain't doing that. Channel 4 ain't doing it. 6 ain't doing it. 8 ain't doing it. The Time-Picayune or nothing. Because they had so many infractions on election day, but we not hearing nothing about it. But after the election, you gonna hear about it, you know?
So we have to organize and come up with a platform that has that's different than what we have been using.
That's right.
We have to understand that it's about survival.
That's what it's about, survival.
And it's not like we don't know it's about survival, because those that sell us out are worrying about their personal survival.
That's right. Me, my friend, and no more. Me, my friend, and four, and no more, like down the shirt pane.
Right. Now, the problem is, even those that sell out have no one to protect them.
That's right, no one. Because after they use them, what happened? They go to jail. They say, oh, this one stole, that one stole, right? But the white boy that stole millions, he don't get no time, but they get 30, 40 years and 50 years, you know, and so that's how it go. They use them, and after they be a burnt out daily torch, go ahead, you know, because I'm telling you, I'm watching both of these elections. I'm watching Marie and Gwen. Watch how Gwen, the lady running for Secretary of State, and Marie Williams for
Greenup,
District
I
E.
think her name is.
Greenup.
Yeah,
Watch
Greenup.
how they play games, and these groups go with each other. And why I didn't run as a Democrat, I call myself an independent progressive Democrat, because when I saw what the Democrats do, it's a disgrace. They got a rule. They say you supposed to support a what? Democrat. Cedric never support Democrats, all right? But if somebody else do it, they sanction them. But Cedric, Karen Carter Peterson, and all them, they support all the race of people and all that, and nothing happened. But if you made a rule, that's a rule. You don't see the Republicans going to the other side to say, I'm going to take a Democrat over a Republican. You see what I'm saying? So the Republicans know what they're doing. They know, and they say, well, the Republicans doing it. But listen, Republicans and Democrats, to me, are the same.
They are.
They are the same. That's why I picked the independent, because both of them are playing games and using the people as a pawn.
Yeah.
Both of them. Because how can you go against seniors and say you're going to throw seniors out nursing homes? How
Yeah.
can you let seniors be homeless neath of the bridge when you know Social Security they only get $900? How can you let them do that when Energy and the Sewage and Water Board have stole all the money? And the truth of it, I'm going to say it on your show, Energy. Why they don't want to bring it out? Because council people that's sitting on the council have got all the money from Energy, and they're sold out. So just like you put all those agencies out there, we want to hear about Cindy Wynn, what she did. We want to hear about our great mayor, how much she got. We want to hear who got the money on the council. Tell us that. But they're not going to tell us that, you know, because they know what Charles Rice was doing. And I'm not saying, I'm glad they got Charles, but everybody should go down. We need to clean the whole slate, let grassroots people run, support the grassroots people, community, and, you know, now, I met a group of youngsters, I'm going to tell you, and this really got me one night. I said, are y'all voting? Y'all voting? They said, man, why should we vote? I said, well, you know, people died for you to vote and everything. They said, we understand that. They said, but when we vote, we see our race selling us out. And I said, I know, but you need to vote and this and that. But I had to look at it from their side. And they broke me down because they said, look, we black youths. But other for like Y'all, they know you in the community. They know everybody in the community. Y'all come, but why the politicians don't? You go to these parks, they don't know Cedric Richmond or none of them. And like, we stand up, we fight WC, everybody. We be out there fighting. We don't see no politician come and save the day for us. They be the ones we fighting against.
Yeah.
And why the oppressors back there saying, get them, boy. Get them, boy. Get them. You see? So this election process that we're doing, they want to criticize everybody else. They want to criticize what happened in Georgia, what they're doing, voter suppression and everything. But it's going on in New Orleans,
Yes,
too.
it is.
And we worse than anybody in the country with voter suppression. Because let me tell you, Arthur Morrell moved polls, right? And the lawyers, if he moved the poll, the worker poll to stand out there and tell you, well, you go to the next poll, right? They don't do none of that. Arthur Morrell is horrible at votes and all that. I don't trust nothing he do. Nothing.
One of the things that is very obvious is that the state law supposedly provides that every district has to have a voting place.
That's right.
For their people to keep them from
That's
going
right.
out of their way.
That's right.
They are supposed to have every district, every precinct is supposed to have a polling place. But you look at the place out there on Chef, the Baptist Seminary.
Theological Seminary. Yep.
They have 6, 8, maybe
That's
10 or
right.
12 districts that vote there,
That's right.
which means they get X amount of dollars per district.
That's confusing. Yep.
So why is it that we have an institution, supposedly a Christian institution, taking the money away from the community?
That's true.
But taking the availability of a community to be able to vote close to where they live.
That's right. It is the Christian, but some of the colleges don't even have voting polls, you know? And the one story that got me, the lady stay way on press in the night ward. That old lady is 80-something years old, but guess what? She's a proud lady, because I saw her and she said, look, she said, I done walked from night ward all the here, all the way down here, and this is where I had to go vote, and I gave a bus fare, right? But the lady said, I'm gonna keep voting. And just what you saying is about making that money and doing voter suppression, but the blacks ain't no better because they'll let this happen on their watch. Arthur Morrell, Cassandra Wilson, that's black people.
Yeah.
All the city council people, they know about it. I heard you call Galman. I heard a group of people go down there and tell them it was wrong, but they never corrected. And when Katrina came, it got worse. And see, the Democrats, this is what the Democrats supposed to do. They collect a fee and get money. They're supposed to be in the community, educating the young people, educating people why to vote. They don't do none of that. But they getting all this money. And the machines, I bet you, Arthur Morrell getting a cut. I guarantee you he getting a cut. Ain't nothing right about Arthur Morrell, you know, because he is him and Cassandra Wilson. You ask Cassandra Wilson, she throw it on Arthur. Arthur throw it on her. No, it's both of y'all. At the end of the day, you run the voter registration. He run. Y'all should have came together. I remember one time you called and all the civil rights people was telling about the polls. They come together, come at Justice Beyond. Yeah, we gonna do the poll. Nothing haven't changed, and that's why they keep doing it. Yeah. You know, that's why they keep doing it. Because if you look at the mayor's race, we didn't have a liable candidate. We had to take the lesser two evils. We had Shabanet and LaToya. And LaToya was a little better than Shabanet because she had Cedric Richmond and Canizero and everybody around, everybody with her. But if you look at the candidate parties and when they're on TV, you see all who's supposed who. Yeah. And you know, and Canizero ain't the friend of nobody's. And you know, Cedric is with him. You know, he lynching your people, and you ain't doing nothing about it. Innocent people, rape victims they putting in jail, but they don't give a care. You know, they do not give a care. And we talked to LaToya about voting polls. She gonna make a lot of promises, but she'll never deliver. You know, that's that. But this the thing that get me, WC. We don't see them no other time, right? So we getting ready for what? 2020, right? 2020, they want to shake your hand and everything. And after they get your vote, they don't even know you or nothing. But New Orleans is alarming. We're in trouble. We're in trouble. We got the energy people, Sewage and Water Board, and the tax assessors all robbing us, right? And we don't know who else. And they're letting all this go down, and they're saying, vote, 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 vote. Now, in May, they got a vote coming up. And guess what they did? This what they're doing. Audubon Zoo, Nord, Parkway, it's about 7 organizations. They're going to sell one big deal for all of them to get what they want. And in May on a voting thing, you know. And when you telling people to vote, you should think about those parks you're talking about with the roaches. You should think about the kids. Our kids are out here and they need help. I watched them do the juvenile. The guy over there and the people are trying to do a good job. But guess what the problem is? The juveniles, they can't do nothing. They can't do nothing for them. One juvenile thing, the whole facility was left open. Nobody was there. Our juveniles are acting out because we're getting back to opportunities. We got to give them the best opportunities. Like I went to Chicago. Chicago got a technology center. If you want to be a journalist and all that, that's where you go, to the technology center, you know, because everybody's not a football, everybody's not a baseball player. We got to find other things, like Armstrong Park. You know, Mayor Contreras saying she putting City Hall in the municipal auditorium. And I was shocked to hear that because our ancestors, that's where our ancestors come. And what we can do with municipal auditorium, let's make a world-class dance studio just for the youth. You know, let's make some coffee shops back there. But she bringing City Hall, and it's all about what? That $80 million they're about to get.
Yeah.
And,
we have the fastest hour in television, believe it or not. And boy, we have covered a lot of territory in a short period of time. But I want to thank you for being with us this evening.
Yes, sir. Anytime.
It's always a pleasure because you bring an energy with you and you bring a base of knowledge with you that few people want to discuss, you know. So we thank you for that.
Yes, sir.
I want to thank our viewers for being with us and want to remind them that they can catch me on Mondays on WBOK from 10 to 12 on the Chuck Perkins Chuck Wagon Show.
I like that show.
Yeah. And if you have information or if you have anything that you want to flesh out and bring to the attention of our community, then you give me a call at that number and we'll make it happen for you. We're here because we have a opportunity to communicate amongst ourselves and allow you to see and hear what really is going on out here. So we thank you for your support. We thank you for watching, and we'll be back again next Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. If there's anything, give me a call. Looking forward to hearing from you. We want you to know we're always telling you to stay strong. We tell you to stay involved, but by all means, stay committed to blackness. Till we meet again, brothers and sisters, Yahuro Sasa Ngawa.
Possessive to the point I'm putting slavery, human trafficking, prostituting, ways restraining our liberties. Deliberated be when you force us enough misery. Look, global systems warming up, ocean iceberg ready to tear shit up. Neanderthals, you're on the rampage, mashing things up. World harmony is burst wide open, asunder. Why? Because you don't remember me. Now tell me, come on, hey. Do you remember me, remember me, remember me, remember me, yeah. Remember me, remember me, remember me, remember me, yeah, yeah. Do you remember me, remember me, remember me, remember me, yeah. Remember me, remember me, remember me, remember me, yeah, yeah. Do you remember me? Remember me? Remember me? Yeah, out. Mental blockades, memories can never fade. Neither does the wild like to be tamed. Enraged by the crisis of my fellow natives. New laws we're gonna be making in relation to atrocities. Outside criminal activities. Strip you all of your treasuries. Who could it be that's mastered and cooked up these eternal plans to hold down us Nubians? Forget us, call them Indians. Maybe I'm sounding Polynesian. Aborigine, I'm talking about all us indigenous beings. To atone should be stripped of your luxuries. Status denied, no longer first class leading nationalities. Why? The held European communities have the audacity to unsettle other natives' liberty. Eternal strife will ruin it. Though all the resources you use are my foreign thing, never is my foreign rate of exchange lucrative. Relate. Can you feel why I feel this rage? It's cause inside I feel like I'm trapped in a cage. You call it poverty and charity. Envious from being in this position that you put us in. Uncompromising, but still you tell us that you don't remember me. Do you remember me? Remember me, remember me, remember me, remember me, yeah. Do you remember me? Remember me, remember me, remember me, yeah, yeah. Do you remember me? Remember me, remember me, remember me, yeah. Remember me, remember me, remember me, remember me, yeah, yeah. Do you remember me? Remember me, remember me. Hey, now, never is there gonna be relief for me in this vague, distorted reality. I am afraid I am a haunted being, just like all of the other indigenous beings. History has kept us alive. I remember when we were kings and queens, ambassadors of human beings. Testimony still remains in stone where nobody can break it down. No matter how far Cleopatra needle flows up and now, it still belongs to remain to that land of mine. Burning what you wanted, monuments is standing firm. When and where did we do you harm? You're victimizing we until we cannot stand. My body be broken down with grief. Soul needs a moment of relief. I am unleashing the rages embedded in your beliefs and changing real nativity. Cannot really live in unity, challenging time. That's what we're living in. Not even sure of my dream. Why the hell do you think you deserve to bring it? Seriously, you really think I've forgotten what you've done to me? Man, you're scared of my memories for an eternity. You need to be stripped of your luxuries, and only then you remember me. Come on now. Remember me, remember me, remember me, remember me, yeah. Remember me, remember me, remember me, remember me, yeah, yeah. Do you remember me, remember me, remember me, remember me, yeah. Remember me, remember me, remember me, remember me, yeah, yeah. Do you remember me, remember me, remember me, hey. You have been cheating on me, manufacturing my history. I need to sit and talk about the side that's dark in me. Pick up your chalice. Please put aside all them faith and your mollies. Reject my message, you awake when the penny dropping. Remember the time the soul was forgotten. Slavery was something big that you're running. You're selling out man and man, busting up. That's what I'm talking about. Me and you were two traditional enemies. You envy me even though I am meek. I'm still threatening your schedule. Me possessive to the point I'm putting slavery. That's human trafficking, prostituting, ways restraining our liberty. The liberated be when you force us now misery. Look, global system warming up. Ocean iceberg ready to tear shit up. Neanderthals, you're on the rampage. Mashing things up. World harmony be burst wide open. Asunder, why? Because you don't remember me. Yeah, too bad for life.